The first one would be, obviously the offensive line has really been struggling so far this year, and it looked like this past week that it really started to impact your play calling with 59 pass plays and things like that. I was hoping you could talk a little bit about that and what's going through your mind, and then also with De'Eric being banged up, the readiness of your two young quarterbacks to maybe handle the load Saturday, and how you feel that their development's coming along, and if they're ready to handle a game plan, so to speak.
Obviously we've not been able to have the continuity up front we'd like. Had a different starting group, especially on the right side, the first three games, and then lost Jalen, and I still think it was late first quarter or early second last game, and so. We've not played as good as we'd like to up front, but I think part of the deal in last game, throwing the ball as much as we did, the first half, it wasn't necessarily as much by design, but they were bringing a lot of run blitzes. They were bringing what we call gut cross with the inside linebackers, bringing guys off the edge, and they were kind of giving us the passing game, especially a lot of those quick intermediate passes. And so it started out us really just taking what they were giving us. We didn't finish. We had a chance to go up 14-3, and we didn't make the play in the end zone mid to late second quarter. And then we came out in the second half, and the way the game kind of flowed, we never really got the run game going like we needed to, and that's something that we have to do. We can't be a good offense and be one dimensional. And even though De'Eric was effective for the most part, we threw for almost 400 yards. We didn't win the football game because we can't control the game. We got to have balance. So we got to get better as a team. It's not just on the offensive line. And the second question was on the young quarterbacks, right? I think it's kind of times like this where if De'Eric isn't able to go, it's really valuable that Tyler and Jake got spring all to themselves. Obviously, since fall camp started and De'Eric was back, they haven't got as many reps. They've kind of split those reps. But in terms of our base offense, I have confidence in those guys. Now, one guy's taken like maybe 10 snaps in his college career, maybe not that many, and the other guy's never taken one. So there'll be some natural just first game kind of jitters for both of them. But I think, my expectation would be they'd settle down and play nicely if they're called upon.
Coach, we've got David Lake from 24/7 Sports. David, go ahead.
Coach, I'm curious if, the last two games in particular, if it's fair to say teams are playing kind of more of a bend but don't break style of defense, generally speaking, against you guys, more than what you saw last year. Last year, generally speaking, it seemed like stack the box, force the guys to win on the outside. This year, it just seems a little different. Anecdotally, I'm wondering if you'd agree with that, and then also just what do you need to do against that style of defense, generally speaking, to get points?
It's a great question and good observation. You're right on. I mean, even Alabama bailed and played some cover three more than they normally do, but they didn't. But the last two opponents for sure have done everything they can to just keep us in front of them. So we've done an okay job of moving the football and completing balls and doing that, but we haven't been able to be explosive to the standpoint of scoring. And what it does, it puts a lot of pressure on you to have longer drives and finish drives to score. And what we're not doing is, we're not making the routine plays to do that. And being more balanced definitely is an answer to that. We have to be able to run the football better when teams are doing that. As a team, it's not on the backs, it's not on the O-line. It's an offensive unit. We have to run the ball better to be more balanced. And we have to make the routine plays. We got to block with the right leverage. We got to catch the balls we're supposed to catch. We can't have our hands outside and get holding calls that put us in 1st and 20. It is hard in college football to drive the length of the field and finish drives. But if teams are going to play loose and give you things in front, you should be able to get momentum, get the ball moving, and you just got to find a way to make the routine plays and finish drives. And we're not doing that at all right now.
Coach, we're going to go next to Susan Miller-Degnan at the Miami Herald. Susan, go ahead.
Hey, Rhett. Two-part question. The first part is about De'Eric. If you considered leaving him out when he got hurt and then came back, and would it be beneficial to give him a rest this week? And the second part of the question is about the offensive line. Manny Diaz was saying he wants the defense to be more physical and the offense. How can you achieve that with the offensive line in practice? More ones versus ones, more hitting. What do you foresee doing to help with that goal in practice?
Great question. On De'Eric, I don't make those decisions. That's up to the team doctors and to De'Eric. And, the doctors had a conversation with him. They came up to me and said, hey, this is the situation. He can play if he wants. They didn't feel like he was in any greater harm. He wanted to play. Doctors okayed it. And that's why he went back in. So that really wasn't my call. And but the team doctors and De'Eric felt strongly about that. And, I thought he played his guts out. The second question about the offensive line, to your point, we have to be more physical. I don't think the last two games we played with the physicality we need to offensively. That's at every position. We've got to be more physical. We've got to, running the football is not just on an O-line or a running back. It's on the tight ends. It's on the receivers. It's a unit thing. But physicality allows for you to have that. We're turning the football over at a really alarming rate. It's just you can't beat anybody doing what we're doing in 2 out of our 3 games with our ball security. That has to do with physicality. Usually if you're physical, if you're blocking with the right leverage, you also are intent on holding on to the football better than we are right now. And so, ones-on-ones will help. Maybe doing some things differently than you would normally do mid-season with drills and things with your scout team. But it's hard sometimes to simulate it with the scout team. So, you have a good thought there with ones-on-ones. That's definitely something that helps you try to make practice more physical.
Coach, we've got Chris Stock from InsideTheU. Chris, go ahead.
Yeah, Coach, I just have a couple, but just the RPO stuff, the plan, the game plan, at times it just doesn't seem to be working. Any thought at all to adjusting and not going to that play or that scheme? And also running back situation. I know, like you said, it's obviously a lot of things going on with the running game, but any thought at all of turning to a different back? Cam had 88 of the 90 snaps. It said, any chance or any thought of going to Cody or even mixing it up and with Burchard, even possibly just something different?
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure I understand your question on the RPO deal. You mind maybe helping me understand what you're talking about there on the RPO not working?
Sure.
Or something like that.
Yeah. At times, it definitely feels like, as watching it, not getting a lot of production with that style and using those plays. Is there any consideration of scaling those back, the amount of RPO plays called, whether it results in a run or pass at all, just scaling back the number of calls with that if it doesn't seem to be working?
Are you saying like more just a called run all the way or a called pass all the way? Is that what you're saying?
Absolutely. I apologize for the.
Yeah, no, you're fine. Because I don't, and you may be like considering like a spot screen out there in RPO as well. I don't think we've, without looking at numbers, been totally ineffective with the RPO game. But I do think, to your point, there is something to sometimes setting your jaw and saying, we're going to run the football here and we're going to be physical. And we don't care if there's an extra guy here. We're going to block him with a receiver or do something different. So there's definitely something to that, to try to get that physical running edge to your offense, without question. So, and the second question was, I apologize.
I apologize. It was long, and just the thought of going to a different back.
Had
a majority of them.
Yeah, that's too many plays for Cam to play, even if a lot of them were in pass protection. Cody Brown definitely needs to play more. We did have some things in there, and he only touched the ball once with Burchard. We definitely have to play more than one back, and that's too many plays for sure.
Thank you.
Coach, we got time for a couple more. We're going to go to Manny Navarro with The Athletic. Manny?
Hey, Rhett. Manny said on the radio today that he thinks there's too many guys sitting around watching De'Eric and not playing with the same desperation that he has, and it's kind of been unfair to De'Eric. I know, look, you got to get a job done. You got to get in the end zone. But psychologically, is there anything at all with this offense that can be done to, I don't know, get guys to raise their level of play besides playing time?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think, what Coach was saying, I don't think anybody's going to sit there and question, even if maybe he makes a bad throw or something, how hard Derek plays, and he leaves everything out there. I think the second half after he got injured shows you everything you need to know about that young man. We had a 4th and 1 and he lays his body on the line to get the first down. I mean, so I think that's probably what coach was referencing. If you get a whole group of guys playing with that kind of just, reckless abandon for the team, you're going to have a really good physical team. And I'll say this offensively, I think our kids are bought in. I think they're, when you have high expectations and standards for yourself, and we're obviously not meeting those right now. It can be something that sometimes maybe guys play a little bit uptight or press. We just got to relax. We got to go. We got to just do those simple things well. We can't turn the football over. We were really good at that last year. We're really poor at it right now. We're turning the football over way too much. We need to have the balance in our offense, that even though we threw it for more yards than we did last year running, we still had better balance. We've got to have balance in our offense. I think that'll help our guys. But we just got to get guys, as a group, we have to start making routine plays. We got to make routine catches. We got to make routine blocks. We got to have the right leverage. We've got to make ourselves hard to beat. And we've not done that. I think we're not playing anywhere near our standard right now on offense. I think all our guys are in agreement with that. We're not making ourselves hard to beat. We're actually making ourselves easy to beat with some of the things we're doing. But I am confident in our guys. I'm confident in our staff. I'm confident that our guys are together. There's a lot of a reason I know to doubt, but I'm really confident in our guys. I'm confident we can get this thing going in the right direction and play much better offensive football.
Last two for you, Coach. We're going to go first to Kobe Price at the Sun Sentinel. Kobe.
Thanks, Cam. Hey, Rhett. Once I asked about Romello, it seemed like he had a good showing out there against Michigan State, and not just was his showing, but did his showing almost encourage you to get some of the younger receivers or even just the younger offensive players a little bit more reps than they've had the first couple of games?
Yeah, I mean, obviously we're really proud. Thought Romello had a really nice game, did some good stuff. We by design played a lot more receivers. I think Romello, Xavier, D. Wiggins, those guys even got more snaps than they did the previous two games. We need to play more guys. And I think, that's what 60 guys like Brashard, I think, will continue to come along. I think Cody Brown will continue to come along. Jacoby George is another guy that we have a lot of confidence in, has done a lot of nice things. So I think as the season goes on, you'll continue to see those guys get more snaps. I also think, though, especially on the outside lanes, that's one of the bright spots. I mean, I think Keyshawn and Romello and Rambo and D, I think we've improved on the outside from where we were a year ago. But there's still a lot of ways to go to be as effective as we want to be.
Coach, last one for you. We got Daryl Streeter from Footballville. Daryl, go ahead.
Coach, how you doing? I hear you talking about making the routine play. I was United States Marine, so I've seen drastic times, drastic measures, things you have to do. How do you get the kids to respond? Like, what is it to do to get the kids to respond to you saying, hey, either make the routine play or, hey, B is going to happen? How do you get kids to respond? Like, what's the plan?
It's a great question. I think it's one thing to say things. It's not like we haven't been saying it for a few weeks now, but at some point, saying it's not enough, and it's not that the guys don't care. So I think we have to maybe change our methods. We're not getting the results we want, right? We're not, the players aren't. Like I said, we hold ourselves to higher standards, much higher than what we're achieving right now. So if we're not getting the results we want, we have to change the process. We've got to change how we practice. We've got to go in and tweak maybe some things we do in individual drills, or do more good on good. If we want to be more physical, if we want to we can't just say ball security. We have to do things to create the habits that carry over to have better ball security. We can't just keep talking about having the right leverage in the run game or in the blocking on the perimeter. We have to drill it more. We have to change our methods. We can't keep doing the same things and expecting a different result if after a few weeks it's not happening. And so sometimes you can stress a point and emphasize it with words, and guys get it. Other times it doesn't mean they're not trying. It's just you may have to emphasize it a different way. You get what you emphasize, but how you emphasize matters. So I think we have to look at, and we already have it, this week when we practice, we're not as much worried about the result. We're worried about fixing the process. We're worried about fixing how we block, how physical we play, what kind of leverage we have, how we stress the way we hold the football, how we drill, how we hold the football, how we catch the routine catches. I'm not talking about a jump ball one-on-one, but how we, our fundamentals, the things that will give us the results we want. I think it's sometimes really easy to focus on the results. And right now we're not getting the results we need or want. So we got to change the process to get those results. Does that make sense?